Tom, are you okay?
I lost her.
Her?
She was going to be this epic, trilogy-worthy character. I was going to be the hottest writer in Hollywood. But I can't get past Act 1!
You need some writers group therapy. Hello, and welcome to Writers Group Therapy.
I'm Tom.
And I'm Roshni. We're writers helping writers. Are you ready for your session? The doctors are in. And if you like what you hear, make sure you subscribe. You can find us online at Writers Group Therapy and on Twitter at WG Therapy. And that's also our Instagram handle. And individually,
Tom_Loveman on Instagram on Twitter, and Instagram's just Tom Loveman.
And on Instagram, I'm at Moonlily Music, and on Twitter, I'm at Roshni Lamino. Whew. So now that we got all that out of the way.
Yeah, we should have started this one by calling ourselves Tam Liveman and Richney Lamino, because we would be like knockoffs of ourselves.
It's so weird. Like, I had no idea, but one of my favorite cartoons growing up, which this is going to sound so dorky, but in the Disney cartoon block, like way back in the 90s, I was randomly Wikipediaing, is that a word? As you do.
I don't know.
And I didn't realize that Tailspin blatantly ripped off some of the characters from Cheers.
Really?
Yeah. Rebecca Cunningham was
Kirstie
Rebecca.
Alley.
But there's a business owner named Rebecca in Tailspin, and she was blatantly ripped off from Rebecca in Cheers.
Yeah. Was there like a alcoholic baseball player? No. running the company? No.
Baloo? Maybe.
Baloo the bear. Maybe he had a little problem we didn't know about. Maybe it was
I don't
funny.
know. But I mean, the creators actually even said, like, Cheers was popular at the time. They loved the character, so they.
But there it is. They love the characters. So does that mean it becomes kind of an homage to it? Is it really ripping it off when you're just, kind of doing it out of appreciation? I mean, obviously, it's not a bar set in Boston with a bunch of characters in the bar. It's a different workplace. It's animals in a tree, I think their office was. And, they delivered packages in a plane or something. So I don't feel like that was a ripoff so much as an homage.
Or was it a parody or a satire? I mean, there's all these terms, but only one of them is illegal.
Oh, right. A ripoff is a ripoff. Yeah.
Totally illegal.
There are plenty of lawsuits, that have come down through the years over these kind of things. Recently, one of the ones I thought was interesting was Elementary. The creators of Elementary got sued by the creators of Sherlock, the BBC show, because they said it was too similar. Even though Sherlock Holmes is a public domain character, anybody can do a Sherlock Holmes show. But they said because of certain characteristics, it being set in the present and those sorts of things, that it was a ripoff.
But even though, I mean, I've seen the BBC Sherlock, I only vaguely know Elementary, but isn't Watson a woman in that one?
Lucy Liu plays Watson on Elementary. So they pointed that out as one of the key differentiators, and I think they specifically did a little gender bending there because they wanted to make sure there wasn't any kind of confusion. And I think, if you've watched both shows, Elementary is very crime procedural. It's very heavy on the police aspect of it, whereas Sherlock is more about him and how he goes about solving the mysteries himself and his relationship with John Watson. So I feel like they're very different, and I think anyone who likes the genre of the mystery will see there's a significant difference, and I would never imagine that one would have ripped off the other. I love them. I think they're both great shows. So,
I mean, and like you were saying, because it is public domain, it's kind of the same thing with Disney, doing like Snow White and all those public domain fairy tales. But you can't say that, they own Snow White or they own Aladdin or something like that. They own that version of that character.
Right.
They own that version of that story. You can't use, the Snow White that we know with the short black hair and the yellow and blue dress and all that, but you can kind of, you know what I'm saying? You can kind of
do
something else.
Right. If you put, a girl named Dorothy Gale in a red checkered dress and had her carried off by a typhoon, with her cat Poco, whatever it was, people would probably wonder if you had seen Wizard of Oz. But it's all a matter of degrees. How much are you taking, and how much are you using that's similar of the character? You all know my favorite movie. I always talk about it, Back to the Future.
Yeah.
I am in love with Rick and Morty. Have you ever watched it?
I've seen bits and pieces. I've played the board game.
You did? Oh,
Yeah, it was fun.
it's very popular. Yeah,
Yeah.
the series. But here you have a case where it's not no one's you're not fooling anybody. We know that Rick and Morty are basically a satirical take on Doc Brown and Marty McFly.
And I think the creators actually went on record as saying, like, they completely loved the movie and they were totally
Right.
writing something similar, yeah.
If you want to, be picky about it, Marty and Doc Brown travel through time in a DeLorean time machine. Morty and Rick Sanchez, the Rick of Rick and Morty, travel around in a spaceship and use a portal gun to travel between dimensions. So they're not time traveling. So it's a very different premise. It's a different science in general. But they do have this weird, grandson grandfather relationship similar to Doc and Marty. But it is definitely, I think, an homage. I think it's something we always, like, as a fan of Back to the Future, I laugh at it because I always wondered, when you see movies, you always see this particular, character in a certain light. And you always wonder, well,
Mhm.
what if he was a jerk or an idiot or, those kinds of things. And they've kind of done that. They've taken that relationship and turned it on its side and created something really funny and really unique. That, again, while they look, like the characters from Back to the Future, it's a completely different story. And I think everyone knows that it's an homage. It's not a ripoff.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's an interesting point because, okay, so, you have parody, you have satire, which are like taking it and putting like a kind of maybe political or, sarcastic spin on something,
Or
you
changing the
know,
genre.
changing the genre. Homage, which is like, I, adore this story, I adore this character, and so I'm going to, fan appreciation, right? Fanfic and all
hmm
that stuff. A ripoff is basically taking the characters and the story and like word for word ripping it off, and that's completely illegal. And so it's interesting because, how much of that is protected as far as it being an homage? Where's that line?
hmm
You know, we were talking earlier, pre-podcast about how when Pacific Rim came out, Sci-Fi Channel put out something very similar.
hmm Yes. What was the one you were saying? Pacific Rim.
Yeah, Pacific Rim. I forgot the name of the Sci-Fi Channel one.
It was Atlantic Rim. They just
Oh,
changed the
yeah.
changed the
Okay.
ocean.
That's hilarious.
That's all they did is change the
Yeah.
ocean. And I've seen it, and it's horrible. It's what they did. Asylum kind of had this business model where they would see what movies were coming out, what were the big blockbusters that were coming out, and they would make a low budget kind of take on the idea. They may not have even matched the idea because maybe the plot wasn't revealed yet even. So they thought, well, this is a movie about giant robots that fight monsters, so we're going to make a movie like that. And then when the movie comes out, there's a little confusion. People are like Googling Pacific Rim, and, Atlantic Rim pops up in their Netflix queue or on the Sci-Fi Channel. And they might tune in to watch it, not knowing that they're not watching the movie they think they're watching.
But I mean, you see stuff like that. Like, remember A Bug's Life and Ants came out at the same time?
Uh-huh.
I don't know if
Yeah.
you remember that. Then there were a couple other
hmm
cartoon ones where it was like, "Oh, this is, too eerily similar." The Bug's Life and Ants one is the one that comes to my mind right off the bat, but I know
Yeah.
there were other ones,
I always
you
think
know?
of Armageddon and what's the other one? The other asteroid movie, Deep Impact. Those two came out the same summer, pretty much.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
But that's not really homage,
oh, it's
honestly.
not an homage. It was just a
Yeah.
coincidence, and maybe that was in the news. A comet hitting the Earth was in the news or something. So somebody came with that idea of a movie about it, and
Mhm.
neither one, like overshadowed the other. But it was always kind of coincidental that two, end of the Earth via asteroid/comet movies were happening at the same time.
Yeah, so I mean, all these examples that we just gave as far as like Atlantic and Pacific Rim and, ants and all that, that's more just like coincidental timing of people having the same ideas. But that's not
Yeah.
exactly a rip-off unless they all take each other to court.
Yeah. There was Dante's Peak and Volcano came out at the same time too. One was with Pierce Bronson, and the other one was with Tommy Lee Jones. One was set in the Pacific Northwest, and one was set in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Both about volcanoes.
Yeah. But I mean, like, getting back to the original topic,
Yeah.
that's
Sorry.
okay. I was like, 'cause we were kind of veering away from the whole homage thing. But I mean, as far as when is it okay, and how far can you push those limits?
I'll give you another example. Family Guy, did a series of Star Wars satires. They had the characters from Family Guy portray characters from Star Wars, and they were hilarious. They were huge. They were like special long episodes, and they did each episode. I don't know if they did. Did they do
Mhm.
3? I know they did 2. I don't know if they did a third one, or if they combined the others into one. But it was hilarious because you had these characters that from Family Guy who are so dysfunctional being the characters in Star Wars, and it was a riot. Now, it's an homage, it's a satire, and no one's going to confuse the two. One's animated, but at the same time, Family Guy is put on by the same network as it does Star Wars. It was done by 20th Century Fox, did the Star Wars movies, and Family Guy was on the Fox
So it
network,
had
so they
permission.
probably got permission.
I mean, I would say, obviously talk to your lawyer, but as far as,
Hmm.
definitely anything in the public domain would probably be fair game. Or like you were saying, you have one is live action, one is animation, so it's not the same
Hmm.
field,
Yeah,
genre.
originality is something it's hard to quantify because uh, I think there's this test they do. They kind of say, is it plausible that two people could come up with these ideas separately without having heard of the other one? There was another example was the TV show The Mentalist and the TV show Psych were out at the same time. Both were about people kind of pretending to be psychic and solving crimes. One was more comedy, one was more drama. But there was a little bit of a legal issue over that.
Yeah, I think there's a percentage test as well. I could be wrong, but I feel like
Hmm.
if you ever did have to take something to court, there is a percentage of how much similarity before a judge would be like, "Yeah, you totally stole their idea," kinda thing. I could be wrong on that, though.
There's obvious, if there's obvious character traits and, all the actors are, the same gender, age, race, same tics and, disabilities or whatever it is, those kind of things are pretty obvious. There are new ideas. I mean, and there's always the case of, I mean, this happened to me. I came up with an idea for a film and I started to actually write it. And then I was doing like Google searches for like the name, like I wanted to name it something. I wanted to see if there were other movies with a similar name. And I actually found another movie with the same name I was going to use. And I read the description and it was so close to the movie I had come up with, but it had slightly different, it was a sci-fi film. So it had a slightly different technology, sci-fi aspect to it. But at the end of the day, it was still some characters in a certain situation fighting a certain, antagonist. And that was too similar. So I kind of set it all aside. Wait to see if their movie actually comes out and if it's any good before I try to pursue mine.
Well, they do say if you ever find yourself in that situation where you have an idea and then you see it on the big screen, it's a good thing because it means you have good ideas. So, how about for all of you? What are some of your favorite homage or ripoff movies and films? Oh, movies and films are the same thing. Um, movies and films. So they're both ripping each other off. Anyway, let us know at WG Therapy and also find us online at writersgrouptherapy.com and share, like, subscribe, etc.
Give us a review.
All that good
5-star
stuff.
review. Yay.
All right. We'll talk to you guys next week.